All right, maybe you prefer it to be spicy. Yes, vetiver fragrances that are on the spicy exotic side. And I've got a great collection of fragrances here that are vetiver focused, but super spicy and exotic. This is taken from a long format video of vetiver fragrances. It's a deep dive video. And usually those videos are running around 2.5 to 3 hours, featuring around 100 fragrances, 80 to 100 fragrances. And I like to take portions of those videos in the sections that are categorized as the same style and air them separately. And that's what I've done here. It's an edited video, whereas the deep dive videos are not edited. So maybe you prefer to watch long form deep dive unedited videos, or maybe you prefer the shorter edited videos. So you can choose now. But if you prefer the long format, I have that link in the info box. You can go watch that long format deep dive video on vetiver fragrances. And then also, before I get to the exotic spiced vetiver fragrances, I do want to let you guys know I have recently announced ScentFest SF, and I'm hoping that you guys can attend. I have a link in the info box to the website to register attendees. You can go over there and register to attend. It's a 3-day show happening on June 26, 27, and 28. And there are a few other events around fragrances and beauty happening in the area as well. So maybe you'd like to participate, maybe you can't, but definitely please come and participate in ScentFest SF so we can make it a yearly show. Now let's get started with the exotic spiced vetiver fragrances. So we're gonna start off first with BELLISSIMA Vetiver Spice. Do you guys know this brand? I don't know what has happened. I just, on my first trip to London, was it my first trip? No, it was my second trip. I discovered the brand and I bought 3 bottles of fragrance from them, 2 maybe. And I thought they were all the hot rage, but I think they kind of slipped a little bit and they kind of came back on the scene. I made sure this is still selling. In the end, it's kind of a very fresh but super spicy take on vetiver. It does make it a little bit easier to wear, but again, I bought this on the spot because I really fell in love with it. And I was also at the time really into vetiver. Kind of gotten a little bored of it, as I keep saying, but if you can get your hands on this, it's really great. It's fresh and spicy, but really super duper spicy with the vetiver. With the vetiver, you still have those earthy elements, but the fresh spices and all the spices that are in here give it a lift so that, you know, like heaviness, the weightiness, because it's a base note, so it's the heaviest note. It's one of the heaviest notes in the fragrance. It kind of lifts it up and makes it a lot easier to wear, if that makes sense. This one's really great. I still love it. I have this stored away in the box, and it's been about 10 years since I've had it, but it still smells great today. Really wonderful. So that is Vetiver Spice from BELLISSIMA. And do let me know if you guys know what's going on with that house. Now, we've got, it's BINET-PAPILLON, #1 Alchemist Pepper. So the word pepper is in the name, but there's a lot of vetiver here. And this is also a very spicy, peppery take on vetiver from the house of BINET-PAPILLON. Ooh, very peppery, spicy. Ooh, yes, that's quite raw peppery, but also a bit smoky too. This could have gone into the dark smoky vetiver category. Although, to me, I always mentioned peppery, black peppery notes do have a smoky, incensey quality to me, and vice versa. But this is quite pepper. But beyond the pepper, it's definitely lots of vetiver. This is definitely much more kind of raw spiciness. And I think it's appropriate for this with the exotic kind of theme, because it does come off kind of exotic, definitely exotic spicy. All right, so that is BINET-PAPILLON #1 Alchemist Pepper. Then we're gonna go to Clive Christian's El Red Tea Vetiver. Red tea, rooibos tea. I just had some the other day. But with this one, the rooibos is what's giving us the spicy exotic character with the vetiver. But it does add a freshness. And to me, it really has a very red tea-like touch. Like, I know what the flavor of red tea is. I've had it plenty of my lifetime. There's a tea that I have from Mariage Frere called Rouge Bourbon. Oh man, if you have any curiosity for something super delicious, you should try that not fragrance, that tea. It's red tea, and it has this super luxurious kind of thick, almost slightly caramelly, the way they produced it. But in the end, it's red tea, so it's no caffeine. It's a great nighttime tea. You just drop in a little bit honey or maybe some agave to sweeten it up a little bit, and it comes off like dessert. It's super yummy. And this Clive Christian El Red Tea Vetiver, The red tea part does smell like red tea. It's like super authentic. But beyond that, it's quite spicy, really super duper spicy, and very, very earthy vetiver. I think the red tea in this one does cause this relaxed feel. Super smooth. It's very refined fragrance. It's a great idea or a theme for a fragrance, red tea vetiver. I give him credit for that one. So that's Clive Christian's L Red Tea Vetiver. Let's move on to a cheaper house, less expensive house called Korres. This is Vetiver Root. So Vetiver Root, I mean, this fragrance, I was buying a lot of these fragrances from this house during the pandemic. I haven't bought much for a long time. They were around $45 or $55, and they would have promotions all the way up to like 40% off. It would be really cheap. I think the prices on these fragrances have gone up much higher. But this is a bit more simplistic take on a very spicy, somewhat exotic take on vetiver. There's also tea in this one, lots of cardamom. There's also some lavender. I can smell the lavender quite a bit. That adds a bit of a smoothness, you know? Tea also gives it that kind of smooth coziness. Same thing with lavender. Like at night, if you're ever not falling asleep and you have some lavender or oil, you have in like an atomizer, spritz it on your pillow or somewhere near your bed. It's definitely calming, but that's kind of what this acts like. Okay, that's Korres Vetiver Root. Then we've got L'Orchestre Parfum Vetiver Overdrive. I almost had this one in the citrus category, but since we had a huge citrus category, I moved it here because it is super spicy. Lots of spice here. It's zingy, zesty spice. And I think I'm getting that from the vetiver itself. And in combination with like bergamot, I think this bergamot, it's acting a bit more like zingy grapefruit. There's a lot of molecular notes. I think there's ambroxan here. Some other spices and aromatics thrown in. Comes off very sexy. But do you like ambroxan and do you like it with vetiver? Then you should definitely try this one. But it also has that citrusy edge. It's a great combo, I think. I could see myself totally drenching myself with that fragrance. To me, I don't know what it is. It's reminding me a little bit of Tigar. A little bit. I think it's the citruses and the ambroxan that kind of gives me that kind of a vibe a little bit. It doesn't smell like it, it just reminds me of it. Anyway, that is Vetiver Overdrive from L'Orchestre Parfum. All right, I think this is the most exotic spiced vetiver fragrance in this category. It's Sultan Vetiver. Are you guys familiar with this one? This is also really super rooty, like deep in the earth. Wow. That's major vetiver statement. It's deep, exotic, spiced, but super, super earthy. It's coming off a little bit moldy as well. There's a wetness about it, and just imagine leaving something in water. It gets kind of moldy. I'm not saying that it's not pleasant, but there is that kind of a characteristic with this, which makes the fragrance a little bit daring. Great scent though. It's so thick. This is Nishane Sultan Vetiver. So up next, going to the house of Perris Monte Carlo. This is Vetiver Java. I don't know if they came out with an extract of this one. I keep recommending their Vanita Tahiti. It's super sexy, but I don't think there is an extract of this. Maybe there is, I can't remember though. So this is, on the other hand, quite spicy and very aromatic. It's also quite masculine. There's a little bit of a nutty effect happening. Now, I don't recall there was a nutty note in this, but this is coming off quite nutty, which is kind of delicious actually. It's dry, earthy, slight dampness, very slight, but it's mostly on the dry side. It's grassy, earthy, super, super spicy. And there it goes. Vetiver Java from the house of Perris Monte Carlo. Let me know if you're familiar with that. And then up next, going to the house of Ormonde Jayne. This is Vetiveria. Vetiveria is so super spicy. It's got that Timur pepper that adds a really, really intense punch of spice. But it's also very, very citrusy. The lime note also comes off a bit spicy. Whoa, very spicy. Whew. Super, super duper. This to me has two sides, the spicy citrusy side and the earthy woody side. The earthy woody side doesn't really appear much until it's in the later stages, because up top it's major zing with the overdose of the spices and the citruses. The words zing and spice is really, really prominent with this. It's the Timur pepper, but it's also quite peppery. Like it has, Timur, I believe, has the grapefruit effect. So it intensifies the citrusy effect that's in here. So that's Vetiveria from the house of Ormonde Jayne. And then last but not least, in the exotic spiced vetiver category, we've got Mr. Vetiver from the house of Nuit Nomade. Who's a fan of this one? I'm a big fan of the house. I recently did a video on modern French houses, was post 2012. This house was featured at #1. And this, on the other hand, it is very, very spicy, but kind of straightforward spices and woods together. There's some slight astringent tartness there, but it's a lot of woods. It's not one of my all-time favorites from the house. You guys know which I like from this house. In fact, we have them featured in one of our recent Scent Club kits. Their Chemin de Monde is part of our Scent Club kit. But I think this is, very easy to wear, but overdosed with a lot of spices and the earthiness of the vetiver. It's called Mr. Vetiver in the end. Mr. Vetiver from the house of Nuit Nomade. And that's the last fragrance in the exotic spiced vetiver category. Let me know your thoughts on these fragrances. Do you like them? Do you hate them? Is there something new that you discovered from this category? And also, let me know what you would add to this category. Which fragrances fit this exotic spiced vetiver category? Do add a comment below. Thanks so much for watching today's video, guys. If you have any questions or comments on any of the fragrances I discussed with you today, do let me know what it is. Add a comment below. Otherwise, like this video, please share it, and I'll be back with more videos very, very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.